Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the program today, obviously over the last couple of years we've seen the need to have more energy coming to the Silver State. We have some answers for you today. Ray Hager has the rundown.
Thanks, Sam. Today's guests are Mike Hogan and Scott Farris of the Northern Lights Development. They plan to bring cheap power to Las Vegas.
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, David Jacobs, Bilyeu, and Andy Barbano. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe-Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Corporations moving to the Tahoe-Reno Industrial Center require reliable power, fiber optic communication, and clean water sources. And yet, there's another amenity we're very proud of here at TRI, rail service. So far, we've built over 2 miles of railroad track, and another 3.6 is under construction. When companies need to transport freight, we're going to help them move it quickly and efficiently. Welcome to the Tahoe-Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The resort at Red Hawk offers you 2 great dining choices. Experience David's Grill and Sports Bar or the Steakhouse at Red Hawk. The Steakhouse has received the Wine Spectator Award of Excellence based on a diverse selection of fine wines. To accompany the wines, the Steakhouse serves certified Angus beef steaks in a variety of cuts, fresh fish, chicken, and pasta dishes. For fun and casual dining, come to David's Grill and Sports Bar. David's is open 7 days a week, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The resort at Red Hawk. Always the right choice.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community.
But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, electrical power, a huge issue for the Silver State and the entire western United States. And on the program today, we're going to discuss it with 2 representatives from the Northern Lights Project, Scott Farris, who deals with government affairs, and Mike Hogan, who is the engineer on the project. Welcome to both of you. First of all, Mike, would you explain exactly what this project is?
Sure. Northern Lights is a high-capacity DC transmission line that would bring energy from Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, down into southern Nevada and supply the Nevada region, in fact.
And then you have plans to go beyond there?
That's right. It can be extended further into California if California wants access to the energy as well, and perhaps as well into Arizona.
Mike, let me ask you a question. In Nevada, this line will go through 4 counties, Elko, White Pine, Lincoln, and Clark County. That seems like and through the states, through 3 or 4 states, that seems like a lot of state legislators and county commissioners to grease. What do you do politically to get this thing moving through Nevada?
Well,
Go ahead. Well, I think it's one of the challenges of a project like this is it is complex, and that's why there has not been a major interstate transmission line built in the West in a number of years, in fact several decades. And so, but everyone understands there is a need in the West for better transmission, and we're finding very receptive folks here in Nevada. Public policy makers and decision makers are very open. They understand the issue, and they want to bring new electric sources into Nevada because of the growth that's projected in this state.
Okay. Well, yeah. And also we saw in California, the crisis of a couple of years ago where the power was just out of control in terms of cost. Why is this project more beneficial? You're getting, these are coal projects, correct?
I think it's
from
going
Wyoming,
to be a combination
Montana.
of renewables and coal from those states, coming down here. So then you get the benefit of really stable prices and really competitive prices. So we are seeing natural gas prices go up, 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 and that's going to affect electricity prices in the state. I'm sure it already has.
And that's because a lot of the power generated in the Silver State, especially in southern Nevada, is through natural gas.
That's right. So the beauty of this is now it will create a path down all the way down from Montana and through Wyoming, of course, as well, providing that low-cost, long-term power. These are plants that will, on the coal side, will be mine-mouth coal plants. You don't get any more economic than that. And also, there's incredible wind resources in those states as well.
Mine-mouth?
Yeah, mine-mouth is where the coal is mined right beside the plant. And so you don't have the disadvantage of long-distance coal transportation costs, for instance. So that's an issue that affects a lot of, that's concerning for regulators, for instance.
Okay. You know, a concern I have, and maybe other Nevadans too, is the effect on the state's wildlife and with this, because does this any part of this run through the Humboldt National Forest, the pristine Ruby Mountains? Those are great places for wildlife, for hunters. Is this going to upset the ecology of eastern Nevada?
Well, let me say that the corridor that we're planning to use here, by and large, is what's called the SWIP corridor, which was approved back in the early 1990s for such a transmission line.
This was when Idaho Power was trying to do
That's right. So we're actually looking to follow the very same corridor. We'll update all the environmental studies to make sure that it meets the latest requirements in that respect. So I think the fact is people have been expecting this for a long time to happen eventually. The other thing is that when it comes to these counties along the way, there's some real benefits for them in terms of the fact that the line will get built. We'll look at increased tax base for each of these counties. And
let's address that. I mean, how much are you going to be spending in the initial construction phase of this if it's approved?
We're expecting to spend up to about $750 million.
But what is the impact on the land, on the resources? You're going to be cutting a wide path for these towers. Are they going to go through the Ruby Mountains, or are they going to go through the pristine Humboldt National Forest?
The answer is no. We have actually, I think, maybe a map we could show about the route of the proposal through Nevada.
Yeah.
And I think one of the nice things about DC, direct current transmission versus AC, which is most of the power lines people are familiar with, they take up a lot less space. They're shorter, they aren't as wide, and so in some ways, if you're doing an electric transmission project, DC is definitely the way to go in terms of environmental and aesthetic benefit.
Okay, yeah. And especially in White Pine County right now, people are upset because Las Vegas, they say, is trying to take their water. Now, you're going to run power lines through their county for the benefit of Las Vegas. What do the people out of White Pine, out of Elko, out of Lincoln County get out of this?
Well, some of the things, Mike has talked about getting power out of the states like Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, but there's also potential to also generate some power up in northern Nevada. There's huge wind resources up there. We've been in discussions with some of the developers about that. There's also discussion about some new generation up in the Ely area, so that would be, and the way the line would work, people could put power on, take power off as well. And so it could also benefit the ratepayers of northern Nevada, as well as help stimulate some economic development in that corner of Nevada to generate jobs and tax revenue.
And let's talk about that transmission when we come back. We'll take a break. We'll be back with these gentlemen from Northern Lights Project right here on Nevada Newsmakers.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Happy Hour at the Peppermill.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, with the booming population of the Silver State, it's important that we have electricity to be able to run all the things we need to have run, and there's a major project that's being talked about at this point called the Northern Lights Project, and Scott Farris and Mike Hogan are here to discuss that. I wanted to ask you, Scott, you were talking about the benefits of going backward and forward, and I don't think people really understand that at this point there is no way to really transmit power between the North and the South, correct?
That is the big
flaw. In the
flaw.
Silver State.
That's correct, Sam. One of the problems in the West is that there's a lot of north-south transmissions, especially on the coast. But where all the energy resources are is more in the interior, and how do you get those from east to west in places like southern Nevada and elsewhere? And so that's one of the main goals of the Northern Lights Project, is how do you get the energy from where it is to where the people who need it are.
Well, and also isn't there a benefit that when there are peak usage in the south, power could be sent from the north, which is a lower usage, and vice versa?
That's right. And also, in the same sense, tying together the northern and southern systems within Nevada. And there's real benefit there in terms of sharing resources from north to south to reflect different weather patterns, etc. So there's a real plus. Is there a benefit
to Sierra Pacific Resources in all of this?
Hugely, we think that we can provide a source. We hope so. I believe you will. We think we can provide a source of very attractively priced power. Also, we can help to tie their north and south systems together, which they've wanted to do for a number of years. And with this kind of project, the economies of scale and the technology, they allow us to do that for a really good price.
Okay, now let's speak about the consumers. If this line is built, is there potential for energy costs to go down for Las Vegas?
Well, I think the question of potential is going to be on a whole lot of different factors. I think the focus this year on energy prices has been on gasoline. The focus this winter will be on home heating, electricity, natural gas. Clearly, energy is a big issue. It's going to be a bigger issue. To stabilize prices and perhaps reduce them, all the West, and Nevada included, needs a more diversified supply of energy, and we think the Northern Lights Project does that, because you can't have everything in natural gas, you can have everything in coal. Renewables are still being developed. So one of the things Northern Lights does is provide consumers with additional options, with additional sources, and that should stabilize prices, as Mike said, at a very competitive price.
Yeah. Now, you're also generating power up in Canada, correct?
Yes.
What kind of system is being used there? Is it coal or some kind of shale?
No, up there we have a combination of energy sources, just as you do in the western United States: coal, natural gas, cogeneration, etc. So it's a very similar situation to here.
Okay, now as far as the renewable energy, there are several locations, not just in Nevada but in the West, that you think that this at this point is financially viable?
Yeah, we're doing work on that, and we're in discussions with a number of producers of renewable energy, because many of them they have really attractive sites, big opportunities, but they're too big for the states that they're in. So they're also excited about this because it can get them access to this southern market. So again, if you have more suppliers who have competitive products, it can only help you in the long term.
You know, this power line is going to run the length of the state. Now, there are many people that think above ground power lines are not only unsightly, but they're also unhealthy. Is there any talk or discussion about burying these lines underground?
Well, I'll let Mike talk about it because he's more the engineer, but there are some benefits in that regard to DC transmission lines versus AC, and we'll talk about the magnetic.
Burying is economically just doesn't work at all because the cost goes up by a factor of 5 or 10. But if we go to we actually have the slide on now. This shows a typical transmission corridor that would carry between 3,000 and 4,000 megawatts of power over AC transmission. And then the next slide shows a comparable amount of transmission capacity on a DC set of towers. That's one set of towers. They're shorter. Obviously, you're using up a lot less land. And then also from the other effector that people are concerned about is EMF. Well, with DC transmission, you don't get EMF.
You better explain that.
Electromagnetic fields, and so you don't get the EMF from DC. So we really think this is a very, very attractive solution for the West and specifically for Nevada.
How many years have you been working on this project?
About 4 years. We've been spending a lot of time doing our homework to understand the needs of the West, looking at different sources, looking at different technologies for the transmission of the power. And we're pretty confident. We're confident in the technology. We know the economies of scale. We've done all the economic analysis of this. We really think we can put something together here that's going to be attractive. And also we've invited the other utilities in the region to participate in the project with us.
I just wanted to add about that, because I think we haven't talked on this yet, is that Northern Lights is a subsidiary of TransCanada, which is one of Canada's largest and most respected companies, have over $18 billion of assets on the New York Stock Exchange. And one thing is, people should make sure we understand, we're not asking for any money from the state of Nevada or anybody else. This will be a private investment. TransCanada is looking for partners, but this is going to be privately financed. It's not going to be a publicly financed project.
Do you see over the next couple of years a lot of other companies wanting to put transmission lines in?
Yeah, we think that people are recognizing more and more that transmission is going to become a huge issue, especially as costs are going to go up and price volatility will increase. So we've been at this for a few years. We'd like to think that we're ahead of the game, but TransCanada's orientation is partnership, and so if there are other players that want to partner in this with us, we're happy to discuss it with them.
When do you think the power could be flowing by?
Well, we're looking at 2011 as a reasonable in-service date. We might be able to move that up. We're trying to come up with strategies to do that, but these projects, they're big and they take a long time to get in place.
Does this project have anything, a component of wind power? Could you speak about that?
Yes, we think it's going to be exceptionally attractive for wind power. One of the issues with wind is it's a little more expensive to develop than some of the other more conventional fossil fuels. Also, the wind tends to be in places where people don't live a lot. I mean, it's out in the rural areas. And so one of the problems with wind, if you run an AC system, is that it can only deliver a fairly short part to the market. Plus, if it's a localized market, it's great when the wind blows, but when the wind's not blowing, then how consumers rely on that. By having this sort of energy superhighway, which I think is the best way to think of a DC transmission line, you've created an economy of scale where you can develop a whole lot of wind projects feeding into the line. And so maybe the wind is blowing hard in northern Nevada, it's not blowing in Montana, but then you have that consistency so the wind power can come on. So we think it actually makes wind power more economically viable to have it attached to a project like this than if you keep it only as localized, selling it to just the local utilities alone.
Very interesting stuff, gentlemen. We look forward to hearing more as the project goes along. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, just 10 minutes east of Sparks. We're proud that Walmart and other Fortune 500 companies have chosen Tahoe Reno Industrial Center to relocate their businesses. We have sites from under 5 acres to well over 500 acres, and with all of the amenities that every successful corporation requires. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, and we're building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The Nevada Beer Wholesalers encourages the responsible consumption of beer. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association are sponsors and participants in many community-based efforts such as school education programs, safe ride home, recycling programs, alcohol-free after-prom and graduation parties, safe voting campaigns, and designated driver programs. They are family-owned businesses employing 2,000 Nevadans. They also collect and pay the state excise tax. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association, delivering more than just beer.
The resort at Red Hawk offers you 2 great dining choices. Experience David's Grill and Sports Bar or the Steakhouse at Red Hawk. The Steakhouse has received the Wine Spectator Award of Excellence based on a diverse selection of fine wines. To accompany the wines, the Steakhouse serves certified Angus beef steaks in a variety of cuts, fresh fish, chicken, and pasta dishes. For fun and casual dining, come to David's Grill and Sports Bar. David's is open 7 days a week, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The resort at Red Hawk. Always the right choice.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, welcome to the program. Our Power Pundit panel. Bilyeu is here, former speaker and his attorney. David Jacobs, assistant city editor with the Reno Gazette-Journal, and Andy Barbano, editor of NevadaLabor.com. Well, the big story broke end of last week, which is that President John Lilly of the University of Nevada is leaving the school and heading off to Baylor. Let's start out with you, Bill. Your first thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, I think that the animals at the Ag College are going to sleep a little easier at night now that Lilly's gone.
Bah.
That's good. And, you know, Baylor's loss is our gain. As one alumni told me when he heard the news. You know, I wish Dr. Lilly well. Let him go to Baylor. Let us get a good replacement. I hope that the regents this time, when they select their interim president of UNR, do not exclude some of the interim person who would be local normally from being considered in the final cut, because I think it's time we go back to maybe looking at our home people instead of a nationwide search. We have several excellent candidates within the system now that would make good presidents.
That's dangerous reactionary thinking. That's how we ended up with crony Joe Crowley. I didn't think anybody could be worse than crony Joe, and if you want the evidence, go to barbwire.info and read my series from 1996 about the mismanagement of the Crowley administration. Joe lobbied his job into existence. He lobbied his way into the job at the legislature. He wasn't qualified for it and proved it for 18 or 19 years. Then along came Toxic John with his spy cameras. But we don't need to have the reaction to a bad president by saying hire locally. Hire the best person. I don't care if they're from Timbuktu or Afghanistan.
But do not exclude the local people from final consideration.
No, not at all. Yeah. But don't overemphasize that. Every time we do that, we end up with a disaster. It's happened with Jay Milligan at the convention center. Hire a local guy after the guy we hired in a national search, Dave Kivett.
I would certainly disagree with you on that.
I would too.
Although I am certainly in favor of hiring local people if they are qualified. I think it's crazy when we have a state of, a couple of million people here. There are a lot of good people here. David, you're wanting to chime in.
No, I just want to point out that university presidents leaving a school is not uncommon in the modern times. People have left Ohio State, Michigan, West Virginia, Colorado for other schools, and those are big-time schools. So I think.
The key thing here is there's a lot of developmental plans, expansion plans at the university, and I just wonder what happens to those now that Dr. Lilly is gone. Also, I wonder about the athletic department. He hired a new athletic director, Carrie Groth, and I wonder if she will remain on the job now that the guy who hired her is gone.
Well, I think there are other considerations to bring up here. Chancellor Jim Rogers, who owns the television stations upon which these programs are broadcast, has spoken many times about wanting to find superstars in education, paying higher amounts of money. All the university presidents just got a big boost. John Lilly himself signed a contract earlier this year. And my comment in the past has been that it isn't always about money, because here you've given the guy the money, you've given him the contract, and yet he's leaving anyway. I mean, how does that work out, Bill?
From what I understand, though, when Baylor is going to receive about twice what he's receiving at UNR for compensation. That's a big incentive. Number two, I mean, he was not that obtuse that he was not unaware that there was a lot of faculty discontent, and quite a few things happened on President Lilly's watch that he really was not held accountable for. The animal agricultural college, for one thing, bidding procedures in terms of unlawful bidding procedures, that was in a legislative audit. There are a whole host of things he was not held accountable for. He's gone. Let's wish him well. Let's hope we get somebody qualified and competent in here now to carry on.
He's banished to Waco, Texas. That is punishment enough.
David, a while back, the Chancellor got the permission of the Board of Regents to be able to fire presidents directly. Do you think this has any bearing on this at all? And should this be a warning to anybody else in the system?
I wouldn't read that into it myself. I just think that, I agree with Ray that the interesting thing to watch is what's going to happen to all these development plans up there. I mean, there's been meetings, there's been a lot of stories and a lot of issues, and how long is everything going to be delayed, and how long will it take to get a permanent president at the university?
Well, I think another interesting thing is that John Lilly was brought in to make changes. I mean, the tumult that occurred was because that was his mandate when he was brought in, was to...
Well, the tumult that occurred was not because of the mandate. It was the way in which he handled the mandate, which was without, according to most of the faculty up there, without any input, without any feedback. It was a kind of, it will be this way. You accept it, which, from what I understand from some of my friends in Southern Nevada who are academicians, Baylor University, he'll fit in just great in Baylor University, where, as I understand, there is very little, if no, academic freedom at all.
Well, he should fit right in.
Yeah.
Good luck to the Waco Tribune. That's what I got.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Play over 480 of the hottest slots and video poker games. Enjoy hot times and sizzling food specials at Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. Watch your favorite game on one of our jumbo high-definition plasma TVs. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. Or sample the best hot and cold sandwiches in the Whistle Stop Deli. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Abadi Ranch Parkway. Yeah.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? They do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Peppermill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Peppermill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Peppermill. Where are you dining?
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers online 24 hours a day at nevadanewsmakers.com. Check out Oscar Goodman's interview. It was last Wednesday if you missed it.
Sam, tomorrow we'll have George Chanos, the new Republican Attorney General of Nevada.
We'll see you then.
Bye-bye. Thank you.